read the guidance notes, make sure you're eligible to apply, be sensible, try and be strategic and pick things that you're more likely to get. So if you haven't got funding before and you're just starting something, maybe don't apply for like £100,000 if you've never managed that amount of money before. And then it's a case, mostly people get unnecessarily scared and think they need to have special people to fill in funding applications. And that may be the case for huge, massive bids of European money, but for your standard Arts Council application or any other sort of small pots of funding like that, it's a case of reading the question, being really clear about your answers, doing your spelling and grammar, and even making things easy to read. So sometimes people think putting in complicated language makes them sound cleverer, but actually it's harder for funders to read. So sometimes even bullet points, just being really clear and making sure that you're answering their questions and fulfilling, like you'll see in the guidance notes what they're kind of marking against and what they want to fund. And I suppose the other thing, similar with tenders, like we don't do very many tenders because there's not that many out there that we would be likely to get. We have done a couple in the past and successful in some and not in others, and the ones that are successful are the ones that we actually have the experience and are able to be competitive when putting in the tender. And again, it's just being really clear and consistent. Try not to get carried away with the jargon and write everything, just be really methodical and putting everything out and using bullet points and charts and things to make it easier for the people marking it to read. Another tip is, someone told me when starting out, was to see if there's people that you can partner or collaborate with if you haven't got anything before. So have a look at organisations or people that might be a little bit more experienced and see if you can build a working partnership for tenders or funding.
And because I think like maybe when you're starting out having a business, you wouldn't assume that funding is something that people use. So like would a lot of businesses use funding, or it just depends on projects? Or
I think it depends on the project. So some that are doing creative businesses that are quite, I suppose, more arts led might go for Arts Council funding. Other businesses might apply for funding through Belfast City Council or Invest NI, or if you're running like a social enterprise or like I suppose a more community led one, you might apply for that type of funding. And sometimes it's not even to get money, it can be to get opportunities to apply for things and competitions, and I think it all follows the same format, just being really clear and consistent. And if you're not that great at spelling, make sure you use things like spell check or grammar, or get someone to read over it for you. And also an independent eye reading it is really good, because sometimes if it's your idea, because you know inside out, you maybe are not that clear about explaining it. It's good to get somebody that doesn't know anything about it to have a read of it and make sure it all makes sense, and then make sure it aligns with the guidance notes.
And what is a tender?
So it's just a way of I suppose, competing to win a contract of work, I suppose. So like a lot of government organisations would use them, as well as like builders and different people like that, to try to get people to each put forward their proposal and their cost for doing a piece of work. So it could be things like doing, for creative people, it could be doing filmmaking or like design work for like a local council project or programme. And they just basically want you to put it in writing. I mean, it depends on what the tender is. It'll be like a document that comes with it telling you what they want to see. So it's a case of putting all that together and just your cost for the project, the proposal. We'll put together some resources as well with a list of different ways you can get into the tender, list of different councils, because it depends on the value of the money. So over a certain value, it has to be listed on the government tendering website. But if it's like a smaller value of money, it still might go out to tender, but they'll be able to put out, different departments will put it out themselves. So something that's worth thinking about that people,
So it's an opportunity to also work with different organisations if you're on their tender list then?
Yeah, for sure.